Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Daf Yud. We are holding two lines from the top of the Amud. We're actually in the midst of a discussion, which started with a question that was posed by Levi to his Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. Levi asked as follows. We have a list of 15 nashim, which are arayis, listed back in the Mishnah Daf Beis Amud Aleph. What happened to number 16? I have a suggestion. Add another one to the list. What are you going to add? Imoy anusas aviv. So his brother is faced with a Yevama, who happens to be his own mother, anusas aviv, who was involved in a forced relationship with his father. So we have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven passed away without children. He left behind a Yevama who happens to be Imoy Anusas Aviv, of his surviving brother, Shimon. He actually is the son of this Isha, but Reuven is not the son of this Isha, because Yaakov was married to somebody else who gave birth to Reuven. When he was involved in this forced relationship with this woman here, she bore him Shimon. So now when she went and married Reuven and became a Yevama to Shimon, she is now also to Shimon. She happens to be Shimon's mother. Anusas Aviv. That was the question. Why can't we include that in the Mishnah? So she's not suitable for Yibum, nor is the Tzara, Reuven's other wife, because she was in the same household as the Erva. So he told him, look, it's not practical, because the case that you're talking about is really a machlekes oriented case. Remember, Rabbi Yehuda doesn't allow one to marry anusas aviv. Even Reuven was not meant to marry this Isha with whom his father had a forced relationship. We don't want to get involved in machlekes. Right? So according to the Rabbanan, this actually works, because Reuven is allowed to marry anusas aviv. He can marry Rachel, who was anusa of his father Yaakov. And when he marries her and he passes away, she falls to Shimon, and she's an heir to Shimon. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, she's off limits. Even Reuven, who's not her son, could not have married her because she was anusas aviv. We want to avoid machlekes. We don't want to get involved in these cases. Then the Gemara tells us, well, we have a klal, a formula presented by Rabbi Chia, which says like this, that in all these harayis, with respect to all these nashim in the Mishnah, you can have the following scenario. You can have a case of two Yevamis who are not falling liyibam to two brothers. The two Yevamis happen to be sisters. So typically you have a problem with being miyabim the sister of your Yevama, because a Yevama is bound to you. She's almost like your wife. Your wife's sister is Asar. So a sister of a Yevama is a problem. But suppose only one of these Yevamis are really mutter to you. The other one is an erva to you. And the same with your fellow brother. He has a problem with one of these nashim, but the other one is mutter. So you take yours and he takes his. Because technically you only have one Yevama, it's suitable for you. And the other one is not part of the equation. So in this case, each brother takes his Yevama and they're safe. So this concept of ha'asur lezeh muteras lezeh va'asur lezeh muteras lezeh, when it's a case of achaysa shehi yevimta, can apply to all the cases in the Mishnah. So, for example, you have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven was married to Rachel, Shimon to Leah. Reuven and Shimon passed away. Now we have two brothers who are Yevamim, two Yevams, Levi and Yehuda. So it happens that Rachel is an erva to Levi. She's his daughter. But she's okay with Yehuda. So Yehuda marries her. Leah, on the other hand, is an erva to Yehuda. She's his daughter. but she's okay with Levi, so Levi can marry her. So you have two sisters, right? Rachel had two sisters, who are now both Yevamos, but there's no issue with marrying the Yevama, which happens to be a sister of the other Yevama, because the other Yevama is off limits to you. She's technically not your Yevama. It's as though you only have one Yevama. So you have one and he has one. And they're okay to go. So this concept of Achoisa Sheyivimta, two sisters that are both Yevamis, which does not pose a concern because one of them happens to be Asa to one of these brothers, and the other one is Asa to the other brother, in which case each brother just marries the opposite one. So this formula, this concept, can be applied to all the cases in the Mishnah. You can find it in all the cases. But as we learned yesterday, sometimes you're running into machlekes. For instance, by Eshes Achav Shlei Be'olame, we worked out the whole case, but it's only based on Rabbi Shimon. But according to Rabbanan, it wouldn't work out. So Mora tells us that apparently, when Rebbe tried to, the reason why he said we don't discuss Imo Yanusas Aviv is because we're trying to avoid machlekes. Apparently, he didn't follow this klal of Reb Chia, this formula of applying this question of Asur Lazeh to all the cases in the Mishnah, because inevitably you're going to run to machlekes to make it happen. Says the Gemara, no. Rav Ado Karchina, on the second line. Rav Ado Karchina, Kameder Rav Kahana Omar, Mishmed Rabbi, he quotes Rav as follows. La'olam Islay Rabbi Haniklal. You know what? Rabbi holds of the klal of Reb Chia. We're going to apply this formula. Which formula? This concept of Achoisa Sheyivimta. Two Yevamis happen to be sisters, and it's still okay to marry one at a time. Each brother takes the Yevama that's mutter to him, and let's go with the Yevama that's asur to him. This concept could apply to all the cases, despite the fact that in some cases we're going to get entangled into machlekes, because you know what? The Mishnah does contain elements of machlekes. Oh, 1 second. So why did the Mishnah add another possible erva? Imoy anusas aviv. The reason why we thought the Mishnah didn't mention it is because we're trying to avoid machlekes. Right? Reuven and Shimon, the father's Yaakov. He was married to Rachel, with whom he had Reuven. He entered a forced relationship. He was Ma'anes Leah, who gave birth to Shimon. Leah married Rachel. Leah married Reuven, Anusas Aviv, right? And then he passes away. Surviving brother Shimon can't be Miyabim Leah because she's his mother. So why did the Mishnah mention this case, this type of erva? The reason was because Anusas Aviv is off limits to Reuven. Reuven may not marry this Isha because she was involved in an oinus with his father, Yaakov. And even though according to the Rabbanan it's mutter, we don't get involved in machlekes. But if we're discussing machlekes, if we're allowing machlekes elements to enter our Mishnah, such just as we decided right now, so then why don't we mention Ima Anusas Aviv? So what was Rebbe's response to Levi? He meant like this. In theory, I can include disputed elements in the Mishnah. However, Imoy Anusas Aviv, this specific case will not work out. Remember, Rabbi Chia's klal said as follows. You have a Achoisa Sheyivimta, and you have Asur Lazeh Muteres Lazeh, which means, again, that if you have two brothers passing away, leaving behind two Yevamis, who happen to be sisters, the two surviving brothers have a problem, because each Yevama is a sister of his other Yevama. But if it's Asur Lazeh and Muteres Lazeh, so one Yevama is Asa to one brother but Mutter to the other. And likewise, the second Yevama is Asa to the second brother but Mutter to the first brother, and they're okay because each one only focuses on his Yevama. It says only has one Yevama. So these two elements, Achoisa Sheyivimta, that's number one. Number two, the way it plays out, we have a scenario of Asur Lazeh Muteres Lazeh, and likewise Asur Lazeh Muteres Lazeh. Both these elements will not happen. cannot possibly play out by imoy anusas aviv. And that's why the Mishnah didn't mention it, because the Mishnah is trying to present cases which can potentially unfold and develop into this type of situation of achoysa sheyevimta and asur l'zeh muteres l'zeh. What does he mean? Yaakov beis achayes anas. So you have Yaakov on top. He was ma'anis Rachel and Leah, two sisters, who proceeded to marry Reuben and Shimon. Reuben married Rachel, Shimon married Leah. Okay? Reuben and Shimon passed away, leaving behind Levi and Yehuda. Levi is a Yavam, Yehuda is a Yavam. In this case, Levi cannot be Miyabim Rachel or Leah. You know why? So again, Yaakov's ma'anis Rachel and Leah, and they bore him two children. Rachel gave birth to Levi, and Leah gave birth to Yehuda. Then Reuben married Rachel, Shimon married Leah. Reuben and Shimon passed away. We have two Yevamos on hand, Rachel and Leah. So you would think, you know what, Levi can't marry Rachel, his mother. Imay Anusas Aviv. And Yehuda can't marry Leah because she is his mother, and Anusas Aviv. But Levi can marry Leah, and Yehuda can marry Rachel. That's not true. You know why? Because just as Rachel is Asal to Levi because she's his mother, Leah is his mother's sister. The same thing with Yehuda. Leah is Yehuda's mother, and Rachel is his mother's sister. One may not marry his aunt. So sure, the first element of the Kalal of Reb Chia, Achoysa Sheyevimta, applies. You can have two Yevamos happen to be sisters. Sure, it works out perfectly. But you can have the second element of Asur l'zeh muteres l'zeh, because in this case both are us. So again, Yaakov veis achayes anas. If Yaakov was involved in a forced relationship with two sisters, Rachel and Leah, Rachel gave birth to Leah, Leah gave birth to Yehuda. Then Rachel and Leah married Reuben and Shimon, who passed away. Rachel and Leah both answered to Levi and Yehuda. One is his mother, one is his mother's sister. Hasur l'zeh muteres l'zeh lemishkachas lo. That second element of Reb Chia's klal. One Yevam is mutter to me, the other one is asr. That doesn't apply in this case. They're both asr to me. Oh, v'beis nachris anas. Say Yaakov was ma'anis two strangers, meaning Rachel and Leah were unrelated to each other, not sisters. And the same thing developed. Rachel gave birth to Levi. Leah gave birth to Yehuda. They proceeded to marry Reuben and Shimon. Reuben married Rachel. Shimon married Leah. Reuben and Shimon passed away. Rachel and Leah are now two potential Yevamos. So Levi cannot marry Rachel because it's his mother, Imoy, who happens to be Anusas Aviv. Right? She was involved in Einis with Yaakov. So Rachel is Asa to Levi. But Leah is mutter, because remember, Rachel and Leah in this case are not sisters. Total stranger. Yehuda, on the other hand, cannot be Miyabim Leah, who is Imoy, who is his mother, Anusas Aviv, but can proceed to be Miyabim Rachel, who is not a sister to Leah. So in this case, you have that element. But you don't have the sister element. So it's one or the other. If Yaakov was involved in Einis with two strangers, two unrelated Nashim, so it results in a case of Asur l'zeh muteres l'zeh mishkachas lo. One Yevam is Asur to one Yavam, but mutter to the other. The same with the other Isha. But the other element of Achoysa sheyevimta lo mishkachas lo, that element of two Yevamos being sisters, that's not happening in this case. So that's why we left out Imoy Anusas Aviv from the Mishnah. Because we want to apply the klal of Reb Chia, which contains two elements. I want to apply it to all the cases in the Mishnah. It won't pan out in this case. Rav Ashi Amar, he's going to give us another approach, another answer to this question. Why don't we mention a Yevama who happens to be his mother, who was nanas through his father? You know what, Rebbe doesn't follow the klal of Reb Chia. We don't reckon with this whole system of Asur. That doesn't really affect the Mishnah. You know what, the Mishnah can get involved in discussion that involves machlekes. So back to the question. So why not? Why didn't the Mishnah mention case number 16? Instead of 15 Nashim, 16 Nashim. Imoy Anusas Aviv. So Shimon's mother, Anusas Aviv, happened to be married to Reuven, his brother with whom he shares a father. Reuven passes away. This Isha is now also on Shimon because she's his mother and Anusas Aviv. What did the Rebbe mean when he responded so harshly, so to speak? He said, he's not making any sense. The Ka'amrli, what do you mean to say? He meant as follows. Pay close attention to the Lashon Mishnah. You'll see that our Mishnah follows Shittas Rabbi Yehuda, who doesn't allow Reuven to marry an Isha with whom his father had a forced relationship. So theoretically, we can get involved in machlokes. We can speak about cases where there's a difference of opinion as to whether it's mutter or asa. But in this case, we can't speak about a case that's asa because we're speaking according to Rabbi Yehuda. It doesn't allow it to happen. The Mishnah follows Rabbi Yehuda. He meant as follows: My time daikas masnisin. Pay close attention to the lashon Mishnah, the masnisin Rabbi Yehuda. It's apparent that our Mishnah is following Rabbi Yehuda's shita, the asar banusas aviv doesn't allow Reuven to marry Rachel, who was nanas through Yaakov, his father. She has no business getting involved in a relationship with Rachel to begin with, let alone dying and leaving her behind as a Yevamos. How do we know this? The Tani Sheish Arayas Chamuris Me'elu. The next Mishnah we have 6 cases of Nashim who are Arayas, who are more severe, more chamer than the 15 mentioned in the first Mishnah. They can never marry brothers. You see, Shimon can end up facing a Yevama who's Shimon's daughter. Because Shimon's daughter may marry Reuven, his brother with whom he shares a father, but there are certain rights that can never get around the family. And therefore they can never be involved in a Yivam circumstance, and Serasein Mutaras, and therefore the concept of Tsar doesn't apply. Who are the 6? We'll mention just a couple. Imai, Shimon's mother falls to him as Yevama. Veishas Aviv, Shimon's father's wife falls to him as Yevama. Vachais Aviv, Shimon's father's sister. All these women are not meant to be in a Yivam circumstance to Shimon because they're not meant to be married to Reuven either. Now let's analyze the 3 cases. My Imai. What does Imai mean? Ilay Manasuas Aviv. This woman, Rachel, is Shimon's mother and also happened to be married to Shimon's father, Yaakov, who also has another son, by the way, Reuven. Hainu Eshes Aviv. So then, if she was married to Yaakov, then that's included in the other case, Eshes Aviv, wife of his father. Apparently it's a different case, right? El Lavanusas Aviv. Ima means she's Shimon's mother, Shimon, the surviving brother's mother, who was involved in a forced relationship with his father Yaakov. And the Mishnah tells us, Uktani, that Isha can never legally marry Reuven, which would create a Yivam situation when Reuven passes away and leaves her behind as a Yevama to Shimon. It can't happen. It can't happen. They can only marry strangers. Lacher mean only strangers. You can't marry brothers. Imai, Anusas Aviv can never marry Reuven, with whom Shimon shares a mother. You know why? Man shamas leid isli hai svara. Who holds of this svara? Who holds of this shita that even Reuven has to keep far away from this woman, this Rachel woman, who is nanas by his father Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda. This is Rabbi Yehuda speaking. The Asar Anusas Aviv doesn't allow one to marry this Isha. That's why our Mishnah never mentioned Anusas Aviv. Because Reuven has no business marrying Anusas Aviv. It's Rabbi Yehuda speaking. That's a simple terror to your kasha. Amalei Ravina Lavashi. Is that the reason why we omit this erva from the list in the Mishnah? Because it's Rabbi Yehuda? The Rabbi Yehuda Nami, Meshkachas, even according to Rabbi Yehuda, we can concoct a case where Imoy Anusas Aviv can fall Yivam to Shimon, the surviving brother. The of Rav Nasif. Understand, Reuven has no business marrying Rachel, who was nanas by his father Yaakov. But suppose he did. He transgressed. At most it's a lav. So the Kedushin takes hold by Inisha who's a Chayav Elavin. So suppose Reuben did go ahead and married Rachel, who was the Anusa of Yaakov, the father. Reuben passes away and she's awaiting Yibum to Shimon, the surviving brother. And the like Tony, which doesn't discuss these Averis that are done. You know what? This scene can play out even without Reuben, the departed brother, having committed any Isurim. You can still end up with a case that the surviving brother Shimon is faced with a Yevamos who happens to be Imai Anusas Aviv, without Reuben having done anything wrong. How's that? As follows: Yaakov Anas Kalasi, Yaakov the grandfather. Right? So he had a son Reuben married to Rachel. He was Ma'anis, his daughter-in-law Rachel, who bore him Levi. So now Levi and Reuben are technically brothers. They share the same father, Yaakov. So Yaakov Anas Kalasi, he had a son Levi. Right? Now, Umeis Reuben b'leibanim. Reuben, Rachel's husband, passes away without children. V'nafel l'kamei bra. Rachel's now Yevama, falling to her own son Levi. And Levi cannot be miyabim this isha, who is Imai, his mother, and also Anusas Aviv. Umigo de'ihi asira, just like she is asali yibum. Tzara sanami asira, her tzara. Let's say Reuben had another wife on the side, Leah. They're both asir. So here's a case of Yevama, who's Imai Anusas Aviv, and it so happens that Reuben, the departed brother, did nothing wrong. It was his father's fault that this whole thing happened. He did nothing wrong. He was legally married. He did absolutely nothing wrong. So why can't we mention this type of case in the Mishnah? Imai Anusas Aviv, without any Yisurim done on the part of the departed brother, Reuben. Amalei Rav Kana responds, "Ba'achavasa de'atera kamari." We discussed cases where it's a permissible brotherhood. They became brothers through heter. Ba'achavasa de'isur le'kamari. We don't discuss scenarios where the entire brothership is based on Isurim. Levi was turned into Reuven's brother through an Isur. So we're not going to get involved in that case. Va'aval became, says the Gemara, bottom line is, even though Rebbe shooed away, so to speak, Levi, he didn't reckon with his suggestion, he didn't want to add it into the Mishnah, but Kol Levi bimas nise. Levi himself, the one who asked this question, added it, inserted it, like Botka's Lashon Bedek Habayis. He fixed it up, he put it into his brises. And he added this case, this very case of Imai Anusas Aviv, she's Isha number 16. The Tani Levi. Imai, a Yevamo, happens to be Shimon, the surviving brother's mother. At times, Pa'amim Poteres Tzarasa. Not only is she exempt from Yibum, but she's going to affect the other wife as well. Make her pater. Because remember, the concept of being Potet Tzara is strictly if the two Nashim were part of the same Yibum household. So at times this can happen. You have a Yivam who happens to be Shimon's mother, and since she's in a Yibum circumstance with another Isha, Leah, let's say, Leah is also pater, as Tzaras Erva. Upamim, other times, Eina Pater Tzarasa, a mother will not affect the other wife. She wasn't legally married to his departed brother Reuven. Ketzad, how does this play out? Hoisa Imai Nusuas Aviv. So we have Yaakov, the grandfather, two sons, Rachel, Reuben and Shimon, who share a father. And Reuben was married to Rachel and Leah, and he passed away. If Rachel was Shimon's mother and married to his father, married to Yaakov, in which case Reuben has no business marrying her. In fact, even if he tries marrying her, it's a karis. There's no kedushin taking effect at all. So she never really entered his household, and therefore Leah, the other wife, is not affected by Rachel. She doesn't exist as far as Leah is concerned. So if she was really Imoy an Nesuas Aviv, Rachel was Shimon's mother, but also actually married to Yaakov, his father. Then she proceeded to marry Reuven, with whom Shimon shares a father. He has no business doing that, and his condition is totally invalid. And then Reuven passes away, leaving behind Rachel, this questionable Isha, and Leah, another legally married wife. In this case, the fact that Imoy is falling Yevamos to Shimon, this Imoy, this Rachel, has no business being here. She was never really married to Reuven, so she's not going to affect Leah, the other Isha. And the Leah is plain, simple, standard Yevamos. But suppose the situation was a bit different. Rachel, who was Shimon's mother, was not really actually married to Yaakov the father. She was anusa to Yaakov. In this case, Reuven should not be marrying this Isha, this Rachel, because we're following Rabbi Yehuda's shita, right? Even according to Rabbi Yehuda, right? It's aser, but according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's aser, and there's a lav involved. But even according to Rabbi Yehuda, that it's aser, the condition is teifes. Rashi says the condition that Reuven does to this Isha takes effect, takes hold. That's the cloud that we work with all the time. That condition can be activated with an Isha that only involves a lav, as opposed to an Isha where the relationship generates kares. So again, this Rachel who proceeded to marry Reuven entered into a valid marriage. It was a condition that's teifes, although it's aser, but it worked. So when she proceeded to marry Reuven, with whom Shimon shares a father, Umeis, and Reuven passes away. In this case, Rachel is certainly aser to Shimon because she's his mother. But since she was only nanas by Yaakov, Reuven technically married her afterwards. It worked, and she was part of that family. Now Leah is affected by Rachel. So just as Rachel is an erva to Shimon, Leah is considered a tzaras erva. So Levi actually put it into the Mishnah. This is potential case number 16. Even though in our version of the Mishnah we only have 15 nashim, but really we can add a 16th, such as this. Okay? Here starts a new discussion. Reish Lakish has a shaila to Rabbi Yehuda. Going to Levi, who added Imoy Anusas Aviv onto the list of the Mishnah. Why? Apparently, he's comfortable including even B'di'evitz, Di'i, such as Imoy Anusas Aviv, who was never meant to get married to Reuven. There's a lav involved. But we discussed those cases as well. If so, I have another one for you. Another potential Isha, another potential Erva, which came about through an Isser. But it comes about, nevertheless. What's the case? So there's a Yevama awaiting Yibam. Reuven does chalitza liyivimtai to this Rachel. V'chazer v'kitsha. After chalitza, he may not. You get one shot at it. Afterwards, it's over. You can't go ahead and remarry her. But he did so. He was mekadosh her. And there's a lav, Rashi says. It says, Asher lo yivnes beis av achiv. Once you give up the opportunity, kiven shlei bana shuv lo yivne. You may not do it again. It's a one-time opportunity. Umeis b'lei bana. Reuven did it, as we said. Kedushin is teifes by yechayav elavim. So the Kedushin worked. He passed away without children. He left behind Rachel, this remarried Yevama, and another Isha on the side, Leah. The migu de'ihi asura, tzara sanami asira. And in this case, this Yevama is off limits because the surviving brother Shimon may not engage with Rachel. Because although she was once a Yevama, but once Reuven did chalitza, that's it. The Yevama status sort of expires right there. Now she becomes like a regular sister-in-law to the other brothers. So even though Reuven himself did Kedushin, and actually we're going to learn soon in the Gemara that according to Reish Lakish, The fellow who did the chalitza and he goes and does the kedushin again, to him, she's only chayav alav. It's considered chayav alav. Okay, so to him it worked. She was legally married to Reuven, but now when he passes away and she's a Yevama to Shimon, to Levi, to Yehuda, to them she's asur as a regular sister-in-law. She's chayav kares. She's an erva. So just as she's an erva, her tzara is asur as well. So his case number 17 in the Mishnah. A chalutza. Amalei v'she'ena b'tzaras tzara. Says Rabbi Yehuda. You're right. We could have included this in the Mishnah. But you realize all the cases in the Mishnah, all the arayos, are asur. Leave them. The isur spills over to the tzara and also to the tzara, and so on and so forth. Which meant that if that tzara marries another brother who happens to have another wife, and that fellow passes away, just like the tzara is asur liyibam, the tzara as well is asur liyibam, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to chalutza, you can't play out such a scenario. Why? Because in this case, we have a chalutza. So let's say we have Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Reuven passes away without children, leaving behind Rachel. Rachel is a potential Yevama to all the surviving brothers. Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Shimon decides, you know what, I'm going to take on the cause. He does chalitza to Rachel. Okay? Now, her Yevama status expires. As far as Levi and Yehuda are concerned, she's a regular sister-in-law. She loses that Yevama status. What happened? Shimon decided to do Kedushin, to give it another shot. He's a chalitza, he feels better, he does Kedushin. He takes her in. Of course it's asur, it's a lav. To him it's a lav. Because he did chalitza. And once you do that, it's too late. You can't be boina again. So it's a lav. But as we said, the kedushin work. Now, she's still a asa karas to other brothers, because as far as they're concerned, she becomes an ordinary sister-in-law. So now when Shimon passes away, leaving behind this Isha Rachel, and also happens to have his own wife Leah. So Rachel is asa to Levi and Yehuda, but karas, she's a sister-in-law. And Leah as well is asur, because she's a tzaras erva. Now, just as Rachel may not marry any brother, Levi and Yehuda, Leah as well is off limits to Levi and Yehuda. Remember, this is an issa that's universal, it's applicable equally to all surviving brothers. It's not like the case in the Mishnah we have Bita, she's my daughter, not yours. She's my aunt, not yours. So that's a selective issa, which can be directed at a specific brother. In which case you say, okay, she's also to me, but let's say the tzara of that ever married another brother to whom she's mutter, and that brother passed away. Now what happens then? If that brother had another wife, so the tzara of that tzara is also to me again, because she's a tzara, right? So you can play it out down the line. There's tzaras and tzaras, because the ervas discussed in the Mishnah are specific to one brother. But she's mutter to the other brothers, so you can have cases where they'll marry another brother, and that brother will pass away and leave behind two wives, and that tzara will marry another brother. The chiddush is, in all those cases, even the tzara is still asur to me, because they're all sort of affected by my erva. But in this case, you can't say tzara. Nobody has any business marrying any of these two nashim. Not Levi, not Yehuda, because both these nashim were tainted. Rachel was their sister-in-law. She was Reuven's former wife, with whom they had they had an opportunity to do yibum, and they gave up the opportunity. So now she's an ordinary sister-in-law. And they're tzara. Her tzara is also asa to all the brothers equally. It's an issa that applies to all brothers equally. So the concept of tzara can't play out. It can't work. And that's why the Mishnah didn't mention it. So technically you're right. We could have added it to the list. A brother did chalitza, then went back to her and did kiddushin, and he passes away, leaving her behind. The brothers can't do yibum. She's an erva, but it stops right there. She's an erva, Hatzara is an erva, and that's it. And no brother will engage with any of these nashim any longer. So you can never have the next step, and the third step, and the fourth step of tzara. So that was the response of Rabbi Yehuda. Asks the Gemara, why did he respond in this manner? He should have just said, you know what? I want to tell you something. A chalutza is only chayav elavin. See, Rabbi Yehuda, we're going to see some Rabbi Yehuda holds that a Yevamos who had the chalitza experience is not treated like an ordinary sister-in-law, which generates kares. She's a chayav elavin. That's all. One may not interact with her, it's a lav. Whether it's Shimon, the fellow who did the chalitza, whether it's Levi, whether it's Yehuda, it's an equal issa to all the brothers. We don't differentiate between Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda's shita. She assumes the status of a chayav elav. Now the fact is, v'chayav elav v'nei chalitza v'yibam ninu, a Yevamos with whom you're not allowed to interact because of a chiyuv lav. The halacha is that she's still a Yevamos. If there's an Isser Kares, she's not a Yevamos. Give away. If she's an Isser Lav, you still have to do something. You have to do Chalitza. Rashi says, why? Because why is there a P'tur Erva by a P'tur from Yibam by an Erva? We learned from Achais Isha back in Naf Gimel, right? Achais Isha is Kares. But if it's an Isha that just produces Lav, you have to do chalitza. So that should have been a Rabbi Yehuda's response. You know why we don't mention chalitza in the Mishnah? Because she's chayiv. You have to do chalitza. She's not an ordinary erva who's totally off the table, off the scene, rejected from the yibum equation. Says the Gemara, l'dvar of Karmeli. Rabbi Yehuda himself would have provided that as the answer. But he was just relating to Rish Lakish's opinion. He was speaking on Rish Lakish's wavelength, so to speak. The truth is, according to me, Rabbi Yehuda, a chalutza is considered lav. In this situation, you do. Yom HaKayim is vasibah. Not yibum, but chalitza. And therefore, it doesn't belong in the Mishnah, which discusses only cases which are totally rejected and exempt from Yibam and Chalitza. Elab de Dach, but according to you, Chayav Kris is Ninu. You hold, right? Not to get confused, we're going to see a whole presentation, right in a minute. The Gemara will now present the Machlekes Rech and Rish Lakish. But according to you, that the Isha that underwent Chalitza is not considered an ordinary sister-in-law, except for the brother who did the Chalitza, but to everybody else she's an ordinary sister-in-law, she's Chayav Kris. So that serves the basis of your shaila. Why did the Mishnah mention this as a potential erva? Should be number 16, number 17 on the list. A chalutza. She may not have yibum done by any brother because she's a chayv krisis. Oh, so according to you, I have another terrace. V'she'ena b'tzaras tzara, as we explained earlier, because she's a asa to all the brothers equally. Tzaras tzara will never play out. That's only something that happens when other brothers pick her up. In this case, no brothers get involved with her. Oh, so what indeed is the machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rish Lakish by Chalutz? Itmar, achayis li'ivimte. Yeah, Reuven passed away, left behind Rachel and Leah. Shimon stepped up to the plate. He did chalitza to Rachel. V'chaz v'kitcha. Then he had second thoughts. He did kiddushin. He wants to have her. So what happens? Amar Rish Lakish, hu ein chayev ala chalutza kares. There's no kares between him and the chalutza. Between Shimon and Rachel, there's no kares. There's a lav, but not a kares. Because once he did chalitza to her, he sort of interacted with her. To him, she's not just a regular sister-in-law. There was some initiation, some interaction. She's called a chalutza. She's not an ordinary sister-in-law. She's a Yevamos who had chalitza from him. So between those two, there's a lav, but no kares. Va'achin chayavin al chalutza kares, but the surviving brothers, Levi and Yehuda, to them, Rachel is a plain sister-in-law. She lost her Yevamos status. There's kares involved. So that's regarding Rachel, the chalutza. What about regarding Leah, Reuven's other wife, who was sort of ignored up until this point? You only do chalitza or yibam on one Yevama, right? You sort of exempt the entire household. So Leah was sort of passive up until this point. What's her status? Alat Sarah. Regarding the other wife, Bein hu ubein ha'achim chayavin alat Sarah kares, whether it's Shimon, whether it's Levi or Yehuda, with Leah they have kares because she never went through the yibum or chalitza at all. She's a plain sister-in-law. So basically, according to Rish Lakish, there's kares all around, except for Shimon with Rachel. Shimon the Yavam, Rachel the Yevama, who had chalitza from Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, he disagrees. There's only lav all around. Bein hu ubein achan, whether it's the actual brother who did chalitza to Rachel or the other brothers who were not involved. Whether it's Shimon, whether it's Levi, whether it's Yehuda, einan chayavin loyal chalutza kares. Well, it's Sarah kares. There's no kares between them and the chalutza, Rachel, or between them and the Tzara Leah. What's the background? What's the svara of the machlekes? My time with the Rish Lakish, Amakra. This fellow does chalitza, and the pasuk says, Asher lo yivne beis achiv, and we learn a drasha, kivan shalei bana shuv lo yivne. Once you had that opportunity, you gave it up. You did chalitza. You didn't reestablish your departed brother's family. That's it. Shuv lo yivne. Go home. There's a lav. Ihu who did kari b'lo yivne. Shimon who missed that opportunity. Shimon who did chalitza instead of yivam. Lo yivne applies to him. So between him and Rachel, there's a lav. Aval achiv. Kaimi. But the other brothers were not involved in chalitza, Shimon and Levi. They're ordinary brother-in-laws. They're kares. Number one. So he has lav, but the other brothers have kares. Vala dida hu dekoi b'lo yivne. What about Rachel and Leah, the Yevama and the Tzara? Allah dida hu dekoi b'lo yivne. Lo yivne applies to her, specifically to Rachel, who had this chalitza done to her. Hatzara, but the other Isha, the kaimi, they remain as is. They stay put. They are ordinary sister-in-laws. So basically, going to Rish Lakish, you have to sort of transform the sister-in-law to a Yevama. And that only happens to Rachel, the Chalutza, vis-a-vis Shimon, the Chaylet. That's it. Between those two, you have love. But otherwise, the other Nashim, the other brothers, they retain their kares status. Rabbi Yehuda vehemently disagrees. He says, how can you say this? Rabbi Yehuda mi'ika miti. How can you have a situation to mi'ikara at one point, at the early point in the situation here, when the Yibum was initiated, when the fellow passed away, iboy hai chalutz. All brothers have an equal chance, right? If Shimon wants, he can do chalitza. If Levi wants, hai chalitz, he can do the chalitza. So all had an equal opportunity, all had an equal shot at it. They were all potential chalitzim. The same with the Nashim. You're not limited to Rachel. You could have done Leah. If they want lahai chalitz, could have done chalitza to Rachel. Lahai chalitz to Leah. So all the brothers are potential chalitzim, all the Nashim are potential chalutzes. V'ashta koyel ala b'kares. Now you're going to turn into a kares. Ella iu shlichusa da'achim ka'avid. Rabbi Yechanan subscribes to the concept of shlichus, representation. You can't have all brothers doing chalitza. One does on behalf of all. You can't do chalitza to all the Nashim. One Yevama, and she represents them all. But all the brothers were involved. They are all considered like chiltzim. They only have that lav, ashala yivna. All the nashim, all the yevamis are considered like chalutzas. You can't do them to all, but one represents them all. It says, they all went through the experience, the chalitza experience. and they experienced the words of the pasuk. Asher lo yivnes beis achiv. Therefore, they have a lav, and that's it. They're no longer ordinary sister-in-laws. They're Yevamos. They experienced the chalitza, although not personally. They were represented by the other isha. Although all the brothers didn't do chalitza, they were represented by the brother who did. They all have the same halach. It's as though they all did chalitza to all the Yevamos. When Shimon stepped forward and did chalitza, he was representing the brothers. They all experienced that chalitza. Same with the isha, the Yevama, Rachel. She was just representing the other wife. It's as though all the women, all the Yevamos, experienced chalitza, and therefore they have the lav, le'yivna. That's it, there's no curse. Says Rashi off to the left, around 2-3 lines down. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. How can you say this? How can you say that? You have a situation where all brothers can potentially do the chalitza. And same with the Yevamos. You can choose, you can pick and choose which Yevama you want. Now just because he chose one, because one brother decided to step forward and do chalitza to one isha, suddenly the tzara becomes a kares. She was my Yevama, I could have done it to her as well. And all the brothers suddenly revert to kares. Rather, haish l'chusa deduk avad. He represents them all. The mikara hayirushus biat kulam. They could have all done it. He represents them. V'chein hish l'chusa tzara. Same with the nashim. Each one was a potential Yevama. She represents the other isha. Just like you agree that Shimon to Rachel has lo yivna, lav. Kenot tzarasa lo yivna. Same applies to Leah the tzara. V'chein ha'achim al shteim. Same with the other brothers. They all have the same Isra lo yivna because they're all involved in the chalitza. So the bottom line is that according to Rish Lakish, we have this stark difference, this differentiation between himself and the brothers, between the chalutza and the tzara. Typically there's a curse, except for one single case, Shimon with his chalutza. That turns into a lav, asher lo yivna. Whereas according to Rabbi Yehuda, whether it's the chalutza, Rachel who had chalitza, whether it's Leah who had no chalitza, whether it's Shimon who did the chalitza, or the other brothers who did not do the chalitza, they all represent each other. They all experience the same chalitza experience. And the concept of the lav, asher livne beis achiv, applies to all equally. Eis ve Rabbi Yehuda Rish Lakish. Have a kasha to Rish Lakish. Ha'choytzel is livimtay. So Reuben passed away. Shimon did chalitza to Rachel, and he was over the Isser. He was mekadosh umeis, and Shimon passes away. Tzricha chalitza menachin. So the brothers have to do chalitza to Rachel. This works according to me, that a chalutza, even to the other brothers, only involves lav. That explains why they have to be mechayutza, because a chayav lavin requires chalitza. But according to you, that a chalutza is considered a chayav kares to the other brothers. Amay tzricha chalitza. Why is it chalitza? She's a full-fledged erva. According to you, let's proceed to the next part of the Bryce, which says, if one of the brothers was Makadasher, so Reuben passed away, leaving Rachel behind. Shimon, one of the brothers, did Chalitza. But then Levi, not Shimon, Levi did the Kedushin. And he passes away. Ein la'olav klum. Sorry, he didn't pass away. Levi was Makadish. Ein la'olav klum. She's not required to get anything from Levi to leave him. I mean, there's no get involved. It's not a Kedushin. It's an invalid Kedushin. Why? Because this Isha, this Rachel, was a Chalutza. 1 second. V'i chayav v'lavininu. This is a Kasha Rabbi Yehuda. That Rachel is only chayav lav to Levi. right? Because the chalutza has only lav to all brothers. Amay ein lo olav klum. Why is there no get required? We know that kedushin does work by a chayav v'lavin. She's his wife. Amar Rav Sheshes seifa ason Rabbi Kiva. Oh, the last part of the brayso. That's following Rabbi Kiva's shita. The Amar ein kedushin taifsin mechayav v'lavin. That's a mechudah shita. He says that a kedushin does not hold with an isha that has a lav. Okay, so basically, this brayso can work according to Rabbi Yehuda. The first case of the brayso, we have Shimon doing chalitza to Rachel, Reuven's wife, and then he's mekadesher, and he passes away. We have some other brothers, Levi and Yehuda, they have to do chalitza. This was the right to Rabbi Yehuda, that she's a chayav v'lavin, and therefore chalitza is in place. What about the Seifa where we learn that Shimon did chalitza to Reuven's wife, but then Levi picked her up, did kedushin? She doesn't need a get because she's not married to him. What do you mean she's not married? It's only a lav according to Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, we're going to Rabbi Kiva, we're going to follow Rabbi Kiva. The Amar ein kedushin teifsim mechayiv lav, and kedushin doesn't work when there's a lav involved. V'lisni l'divrei Rabbi Kiva ein lo olav klum. Well, once we have that shift in the Mishnah between the Reisha, which is following Shittas Rabbanon, who hold that a chayav v'lavin can have kedushin, right? That was the first case in the Brayse. Reuven passed away, left behind Rachel. Shimon was chalitza, and then he decided to be mekadesher, and then he passed away. So that was the question: what the other brothers do? They do chalitza. It's pretty clear that Shimon was able to do kedushin, even though she was already his chalitza. There's a lav. We're following the Rabbanon. The kedushin works by chayav v'lavin. But then the Seifa, you just told me that the Seifa is following Rabbi Kiva. There's no kedushin by chayav v'lavin. So the Mishnah should have expressed that we're following, we're shifting to Rabbi Shimon, to Rabbi Kiva. We're listening to Rabbi Kiva. Ein lo olav klum, according to Rabbi Kiva, there's no get involved because there's no kedushin. Mishnah should have the Brayso should have made that clear. That we just shifted to a different shita. Kasha, you're right. This is an unresolved kasha. We're not sure why the Brayso chose to present the halachas in this manner, but in any case, the Brayso will work properly according to Rabbi Yehuda. And this was a kasha on Rish Lakish. Okay, time for a rather brief chazara of today's daf. The Mishnah speaks about the 15 noshim, which are arayas, that don't have yibum. Question: what about imoy anusas aviv? Well, this concept of Reb Chia, two sisters being Yevamos, one of them is asa to one brother, one to the other brother, will not pan out by imoy anusas aviv, as we explained. Another pshat in the Gemara was, it's clear that our Mishnah is following Shittas Rabbi Yehuda. It doesn't allow anybody to marry Anusas Aviv. So Reuven has no business marrying this Isha who was nanas by Yaakov, his father. Fact is, Levi did actually add it to his brayso. He added case number 16, Imoy Anusas Aviv. That took us to the next question. Once we're discussing scenarios that are based on Isser, right? Because even though Reuven is not meant to marry Anusas Aviv, right, according to Rabbi Yehuda, but we discussed it as well. We added to the list. So why don't we speak about the case of a chalutza? It's it's a case of b'di'evid, and can play itself out in the yibum situation. So we have Reuven passing away, leaving behind Rachel Yevamos. Shimon does chalitza, and then he does kedushin to that same chalutza. That's problematic. It's an issa, but he did it. And now Shimon passes away, and surviving brother Levi or Yehuda want to know what to do. Right? So why did the Mishnah mention that as a case? Because in this case, at least according to Rish Lakish, as we saw, right? In this case, there's a curse. She's a regular erva to the other brothers. So that was Rish Lakish's kasha to Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara actually said, now we understand, the Gemara actually said, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it wouldn't have been a kasha to begin with, because remember, Rabbi Yehuda holds that even a chalutz is just al chayav v'lavin to any brother. And a chayav v'lavin requires chalitza. So it doesn't belong in our Mishnah where we have cases that are totally exempt from yibum. That would have been the good terrorist. Rabbi Yehuda could have responded to Rish Lakish's kasha, but he didn't want to get involved in personal discussion. That was his personal opinion. He wanted to relate to Rish Lakish's personal opinion, which is that a chalutza is bekaris to the other brothers. So why did the Mishnah mention it? Because it doesn't fit with Tzaras Tzara, because she has no business marrying the other brothers, which is the only way to create Tzaras Tzara. And therefore the Mishnah omitted it. We ended with the machlokes regarding the status of a chalutza. So we have two nashim falling Yibam, Rachel and Leah. and we have one of the brothers doing chalitza to say to Rachel. So we have the brother who did chalitza. We have the other brothers that were not involved in the chalitza. We have the chalitza herself, Rachel. We have the Leah, the other wife. So what happens? What's their status? According to Rish Lakish, the only one that gets off easy is the with the chalutza, Shimon with the isha that he was chalitz. There's a lava layivna, but regarding the other brothers, they have karas. They weren't involved in the chalitza. To them, she's just an ordinary sister-in-law. And regarding the tzara, there's karas all around, to him and to the brothers. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says, no, he represents the brothers, she represents all the wives in the family, and therefore the concept of yivna applies to all the brothers and to all the women equally. And all you have is a lav and not a karas. All the best to you and much hatzlach.